Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I'm here checking out Dariusburst Chronicle Saviours. Again. Because I haven't played enough of this bloody game on this channel. But, thankfully today there was actually something new for it. We have a new DLC mode, and we've also got a bunch of other things and a bunch of other bug fixes, but yeah. So basically, we've got a brand new DLC mode to go to. And this includes 3 new ships. So let's go have a look at these 3 new ships, because I know I don't usually do downloadable content, but when you get new ships in Dariusburst, it kind of changes the way the game plays entirely, so they're usually worth a look. That's a bit loud, I am sorry about that. But yeah. So, here's how the downloadable content works for Dariusburst Chronicle Saviours. We have 3 new ships so far, and we've got 3 more coming. So, you can buy these 3 ships here in a pack for $11.99 US and probably something similar in the other regions of the world. Or you can buy each ship individually for $5. And I accidentally bought all of them individually because I didn't put up the big pack on the store. So that was kind of infuriating, but it doesn't matter. I haven't actually paid for this game at all. I have the PC version, which a friend gave to me because they bought like 4 copies of it to support the publisher and they didn't have anything else to do with them. And I got a review code for the Vita version, so paying a little bit of extra money isn't that big of a deal for me, considering how good this goddamn game is. But yeah, I actually paid for this DLC. So you got these 3 ships, and each of these 3 ships have 3 stages designed specifically for them. So they're not exactly like brand new stages, they're stuff from the usual Chronicle Saviours stuff. But they're new rearrangements designed specifically for these new ships. So every one of these ships has 3 of these stages, but you can play every stage that's included with every ship. So it's definitely not that big of a deal. You also have the Taito pack, which you get by buying any individual ship or the entire pack. And these are 10 stages, 2 scrambles, 5 defenders, and 3 single bosses that you can play individually. You also have the CS pack, which is 30 stages taken directly from the game's Chronicle Saviours mode. Which is kind of unfortunate, honestly, mainly because it just seems unnecessary to have an entirely separate DLC mode when you can modify the CS mode to include just these 3 ships as purchasable ships. It just seems unnecessary to me. Because now that we've got all these we've only got like 40 stages overall for these ships. Like, let me count. We've got 30 in here, 10 in here, and then 9 for these 3 ships. So we've got 49 stages for these new ships. It just seems a little bit lackluster, especially considering that you've got 200-something stages in Chronicle Saviours mode, and then you've got all the stuff in the arcade mode. These ships are not available in those 2 modes. Which is a little bit disappointing, honestly, purely because the stages for any sort of Dariusburst expert are probably going to be easy to get through. I'm not one to talk, mainly because I haven't beaten that much in the CS mode yet. I've only gotten like 30 stages beaten so far, because I don't have that much time to put into this game, unfortunately. It's just a little bit disappointing, and I hope they do things like introduce more CS packs throughout the ages. Like, they're probably going to include a second one with the Sega pack, but at the same time, I'd be hoping for more, like a 3rd or a 4th one to give you like at least half of what CS mode has for the DLC ships, so at least have something to do. Oddly enough, you do get these help screens that tell you what all these do. So you can see have a rough idea of what you're getting into before you jump in. Strangely enough, they actually have help screens for the new DLC that's in the Sega pack that we don't have yet. Which is a little strange, but not that big of a deal. And you can play all the DLC stages included with all the regular ships. Which, I don't see the point, because again, 25 of them are stages, no, 30 of them, I keep thinking 25 for some reason. 30 of them are ones that you've already got, so the rest of them, you've got like, what, 19 new stages overall, which isn't really that much in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, let's actually stop talking about what the DLC has, despite the fact that, you know, it's a little bit expensive for what I'd like, but the DLC is actually pretty damn good. So let's actually get into why. So we're going to play the second unique stage of every ship. Because why not, right? Also of note, every stage has online leaderboards. So you can find your way on there if you like. unfortunately, the leaderboards are only, what's the word? You can get onto the leaderboards with any ship in the game, so it's not like you can have a leaderboard entirely full of Night Strikers, or these are the Integres, sorry. You can't have you can't have a single leaderboard ship, which is a little annoying. But anyway, let's get on into the game and actually show off what these ships do. When the game decides it wants to load. It's like that. So here we are in the Integre, the ship from Night Striker. The stages work about the same as they do in Chronicle Saviours. You have what is arguably... What's the word I'm looking for here? Because I'm kind of lost right now. You have a bunch of stages that are tied together via this fucking laser. Leave me alone! God damn it. You have a bunch of stages that are tied together via boss fights, and there are also some parameters that you can have, like, you might have no defensive items, you might have no attack items, you might have no items at all, you might have focus auto, you might have burst auto charge. Why am I calling it focus? What the hell, man? You might have all those stuff applied to the stages, so it's a lot like the Chronicle Saviours stuff, and obviously you're in the Chronicle Saviours aspect ratio. So, we might as well start talking about the Integre, which is the first ship of the DLC pack. And god damn, I'm getting destroyed right now. So, the Night Striker ship has a couple of unique things. So, first of all, you have one straight shot. You also have this. Missile barrage from hell. Jesus Christ, this thing is powerful. And also of note, while you're doing this, you are invulnerable. You can't do anything like beam counters, unfortunately, but, well, you're not technically invulnerable, but a lot of shots won't hit you. There's not that much that can hit you when you're in that mode. Nevertheless, your main shot is also modified by the direction you're moving in. So, no matter what direction you move in, you'll be firing off these homing shots out to the sides. So, the only way to get maximum firepower is to be moving in any single direction at any one time. Also of note is that if you move up and down, your main shot will get a secondary shot next to it. So, the only real way to get firepower, completely contradicting what I just said, the only real way to get maximum firepower is to be constantly moving, god damn it, is to be constantly moving up and down. This is a freaking nightmare, as one might imagine. Sure, you do have I walked right into that. It was by itself and I walked right into it. So you have a bunch of ways to be using maximum firepower on this ship, but unfortunately you have to be moving constantly to do it, so you better be really good at your dodging, because Jesus flippin' Christ. The dodging while you're moving up and down, and being able to move up and down like only, because you start moving to the left and right, not only will you be most likely to get absolutely bloody annihilated, you'll not be able to use your secondary shot. So, keeping maximum firepower around on this guy is insane. And thankfully his missile barrage is actively upgradable along with your main shot, so you can do more damage as time goes on. But this is definitely the most challenging of the new downloadable content ships, that's for sure. It's definitely the hardest ship because you have to keep moving up and down to get your maximum firepower out. It also turns into one of the easiest ships because you do have that burst that you can pull out at pretty much any time. You don't have to be at absolute maximum to use it. And it is useful for situations like that, and of course there is a multiplier reward for using the burst, much like pretty much every other Dariusburst ship there is. And you do earn burst really quickly on this ship, so it is a pretty good little ship. It's quite interesting. Also, the fact that it's basically a space Camaro, or I don't know what kind of ship looks like that, but I mean car, obviously, but it is basically just a luxury car, hover car in space, which is kind of amazing. But it is a very interesting way to play the game because you do have the challenge of having to move up and down constantly in order to get your maximum firepower out at any time, which is very interesting, but at the same time very difficult. Also, thank God for this burst ship because, hell, that shield is just so good. It is great for getting yourself out of trouble. Unfortunately, you can't deflect everything with it, but you do get to get out of some trouble with it. Also, I've noticed that while you're on the original stages, you get the original music and sound effects. So if you pick up a pickup, it won't be the general Dariusburst pickup sound effect. It'll be the pickup effect from the original games. So you do have a bit of tuning that's going on here to make this at least an interesting recreation. I can't say for sure if these are faithful recreations of the games they come from, or at least the ships they come from in those games. But at the same time, they're really obscure 80s and early 90s shooters that I have never heard of until this point. So, can you blame me for this? Not really. It would have been great if they included, like, emulated versions of those original games, though. Like, imagine that. You'd have, like, 4 games in one at that. 5 games in one, actually, come to think about it. But I guess there are some technical limitations to that, and I can forgive them. But at the same time, add more stages, and it'll make it easier for me to forgive you for not including, like, the original games. Walked right into them. I'm a goddamn idiot. But again, see what I mean? You have to be constantly moving up and down, so you have to just be keeping that in mind all the time. Now it's time. Eat Missile Barrage. Unfortunately, you can't beam duel with the Missile Barrage. And some things will indeed hurt you. Like, if you collide with an enemy, that will hurt you. There are some projectile types that'll go through you, like not the Hungry Gluttons, the other fish thing. I can't bloody remember its name. The Brightly Stare, I think one of them's called. Where it launches those big yellow shots that'll home towards you when they launch, and so they're a pain in the ass to avoid, because you're constantly having to move to new territory to avoid them. But yeah, the new, those Brightly Stare bosses, they will include... those projectiles will hurt you. There are some projectiles that will hurt you, which is kind of annoying because it's relatively inconsistent. But then again, it's not that big of a deal because you just have to learn what works and what doesn't. So, yeah. There's the loading screen lag. I kind of like this version better just because the loading screen has lag on it for some reason. I don't know what it is. Like, it makes absolutely no difference to the game whatsoever. It's just odd, honestly. The reason why I'm playing these stages in particular and, like, not the Chronicle Saviours, oh my god. Not the Chronicle Saviours stages that they included, is because, again, they have actively designed these stages to work with these ones. So you end up with a lot of interesting ways to use your stuff. So, for example, see how that's up there now? If I can just get to the right angle, or maybe I can get to the right angle, I can... God damn! Look at all these homing bullets! But sometimes your homing bullets, you can affect what angle they come out with sometimes with the D-pad. I don't think it's something you can do by yourself, but then again, this is just me we're talking about. I might suck so badly that I don't even notice this. But you'll notice that I'm destroying things that are on the very edge of the screen without even getting close to them at points, which is actually really useful, because when the bullets can curve up and get rid of a turret before any other regular ship can shoot that thing, it's actually really useful. Missile Barrage! So, there are indeed unique ways to take advantage of these ships' weapons, and they are indeed very useful. Just, come on, homing, never mind. Ow. Thank God this thing is shielded when it's firing off all these bloody things, huh? Gotta get all these before... Oh my god! It's always that last wave that gets you. Oh boy, the 1,000 bullets. Better than the Gluttons, I tell ya, but it's still the 1,000 bullets. Now I just have to hang back and make sure I don't get my ass handed to me, but this ship is definitely fun. It's not my personal favorite of the pack. That goes to the ship that comes from Metal Black, but this ship, the the Night Striker ship. I keep forgetting their actual names, but I can remember the game's names. Metal Black, Night Striker, and Rayforce. I can definitely remember all of them, but oh god. It is still definitely a fun ship, and there are a lot of interesting ways to use its main attacks. Again, it's just a bit of a pain in the ass, mainly because you don't have that many stages to use them on. Out of the way. Out of the way. Ow. I probably will fail these stages because, again, I've only got, like... Oh, Jesus. I've only got an hour or so with each of these, which is... Ow. Which is not that much, admittedly. And I am playing on the second stages, and they aren't afraid to throw, like, really endgame bosses at ya. Because... Jesus. Because I have found a boss that I didn't even have the trophy for yet. In one of the early stages for the, I think it was the Rayforce ship? Because I hadn't even been the Azure Nightmare yet, and that's like one of the last bosses they throw at you on the first stage of, I think it was the Rayforce DLC, but I'm not going to claim to... Ow. Oh well. Decent demonstration, despite the fact that I got my ass handed to me. Let's move along to the second ship, which is the Night Striker ship, when the game decides it wants to load and hopefully not crash, because it has crashed on me once in this mode, but it was probably because I came out of sleep mode with it. So, alright, let's move on to the Metal Black. Wait, seriously? No, it's not the same stage for all of them, thank God. But anyway, let's go. So, the Night Striker ship. Definitely my favorite of the whole DLC pack. This one is definitely the most interesting ship to pilot, that's for sure. So, this ship doesn't gain burst through the normal way. It gains it purely through... See these little... I call them atoms, I think? Icons? That are on the screen here? You pick them up to gain fever energy. What do you do with your fever energy? Well, here's one use of it. Well, it's not fever energy, it's burst energy. I keep calling it different things. So, that's burst energy. That's one of the uses. If you tap the X button, that's what comes out. It's a burst attack that hits almost everything, bullet and foe alike, next to you. It doesn't cover the entire screen, but it sure does get a large amount of it, that's for sure. And thankfully, it can be turned on and off at will. So if you want to just throw out a really quick pulse to deal with something that's about to hurt you in some way, well, you can do that, which is actually quite useful. The second use is something I'll hopefully be able to show off quite soon. It is worth noting, though, that considering the new fever mode, you end up having a lot of... The burst mode, I should say. Jesus Christ, I call it everything. What am I going to reference next? But, yeah, it's... The new fever mode makes things interesting, especially on bosses, which don't tend to drop pickups at points. Like, some enemies do, but... Some bosses do, but some don't. It's kind of annoying. But either way, it does make things fairly interesting for that. Here we go. Yes! Not only do you get a beam, it's stupidly wide. It gets so wide, it's almost hilarious. It's just... It does so much damage if it's at the widest apex. It's so awesome. But yeah, that's the secondary function of the burst. So this ship definitely has a lot of ways to attack and defend itself with. And it is very interesting when it comes to bosses, because at times, pickups will eventually just like float in from the side of the screen, and it's actually kind of great. But yeah, this is definitely my favorite ship of the entire pack, because you can just absolutely wreck shit if you know what you're doing with this guy. I mean, there are some... Like, the other ship, for example... Oh, God. The other ships, I should say, the other two ships, are definitely interesting in their own right, but this just has a massive amount of opportunities for score grabbing and all sorts of other crap. And also, it's surprisingly easy to handle. The one downside to it, though, is that nothing it's got is upgradable. What you've got to begin with is what you're stuck with. And any pickups that you get from just regular enemies, like red and green pickups, I should say. Any pickups that you get from enemies like that will just turn into point pickups, which is a little disappointing, honestly. I would have liked to have seen this upgradable in some way, but can't win everything, and this shit is stupidly overpowered to begin with, honestly. So, yeah. It's also quite nice because all the stuff you need for Fever actually sticks towards the middle of the screen, so it doesn't fly away. So if you're about to come up to a really difficult point on a stage and you've already got full Fever meter, you can do something along the lines of just saving as much of it as you can, so that you don't have to go through a difficult stage and then have like zero... I was about to call it blast meter. Why am I calling it blast? Jesus Christ. But yeah, you can save a bunch of your... You can save a bunch of your energy or a bunch of your pickups one way or another in order to do a difficult part of a stage and then just pick it all up and be at full strength again. Why do you want to be at full strength? Well, in case you didn't notice, the more Fever meter... Grr. The more meter that you have, the stronger your bullets are. So while your ship is actually overpowered, using up all your Fever meter... Fever! Christ almighty. I can't even remember what it's called anymore. Using up all your meter means that you have the ability... What's the words I'm looking for? Using up all your meter means that you'll probably be weaker for the next section of the stage. But then again, if you save a bunch of your pickups in the middle of the screen, you'll be able to pick them up and you'll be back at full strength. So again, it is very interesting. A very interesting play concept. I mean, it is very similar to a couple of other ships in the game, but again, it is a very interesting concept, and considering how just bloody overpowered you are at pretty much any time, it does make things very interesting indeed. And I do quite love it. It is a very interesting ship to play with, and timing things like bursts like this so that you get as many points as possible on your multiplier. And trying not to get yourself hurt in the process, but this is me we're talking about. I'd probably trip over a cockroach, knowing me. This is just how bad I am at life, let alone video games. It is still a very interesting ship to me, though, and I quite like the design, honestly. Makes me want to go pick up the original game that this is in, because this seems so OP, it's ridiculous. Maybe because it wasn't actively designed for Dariusburst Chronicle Saviours, who knows? It's still definitely an interesting ship, though. Hate these things. Oh, I love doing that so much. It's just like, is there a hard part coming up? Just press X and let your worries fade into the background. 1,000 bullets again. Yeah, no wonder I thought these stages all looked the bloody same, but... Yeah, they definitely aren't afraid to bring out the big guns, especially with the bloody Zern Nightmare. That's a... Well, it's a nightmare, yeah. I'll try not running directly into him this time. Maybe it'll save me a little bit. Ow. Ow. Ow! Damn it, brain. Work with me here. I'm not used to playing it on the big screen. Like, I usually watch all the gameplay that I do on my big screen to make sure that I haven't knocked out the cable or something, but yeah, that's really not working for me at this point. This thing does have a beam that I can counter, though, so I want to wait until I can get that. Unfortunately, these goddamn lasers don't make it very easy, because then he just launches out some homing bullets and you gotta dodge out of the way, and sometimes they come back! Because they're just that big of an asshole. Fucking homing bullets, man, I swear. Oh god, there we go. Ow. Bugger it. Ow. Had to happen. Although it's not great that it spawns me right in the path of the freaking huge green beam of death and doom. That's for sure. Oh, God. Please bring out the... Yep, he's bringing out the beam this time. So... Counter beam! Ow, ow, ow. And, of course, the final blow is dealt via someone running head-on into me, because that's just the way it works in Darius sometimes. Anyway, let's get on to the final ship. It's definitely as interesting as the other two, or at least I hope it is. If you're stuck around for this long, you're obviously some kind of interested. So, Area 2 with the X-Lay, which is a weird freaking name for a ship, but we'll go with it. Area 2. So here we are with the X-Lay, the ship from Rayforce. Now, for some reason, they decided to put this one in. So I'm hoping that they'll have more unique ones in the future. Like, okay, so you get health and you get main weapon power-ups, just like normal, right? So that's not particularly interesting. The most interesting thing about this thing is this missile cannon. So that little circle you see there is your missile aiming point. If an enemy crosses into this spot, they will gain a crosshair. Press X and you will fire a massive volley of missiles. You can see down the bottom left there that you can have a maximum amount of missiles at any one time. And you will fire every missile you have once you press X. So as long as you've gotten enough lock-ons, you'll be able to fire as much as possible. Unfortunately, this missile can't actually be upgraded, so your green icons turn to point icons. There is, however, another mode for this missile launcher, and I'll wait for the most appropriate time to use it, but this will not be straight away, unfortunately. So the main part of this ship's mode is its missile system. So you've got a lot to do with these missiles, considering that, well, I'm just going to wait because I'm pretty sure... Oh, this'll do. So if you hold X, you get a wider field of fire, and your missiles get weaker, but you can basically just wipe up and down the screen and just destroy everything with a very colourful barrage of missiles. Except I keep getting hit because I'm a bloody idiot. But yeah, that's the secondary mode of the missiles. So your main method of play when it comes to the missile launcher is determining which set of missiles is most appropriate to use at one time. Because again, the wider missile field of fire is a ton weaker than your general missile set. So you have to figure out which one's more appropriate. And the extra range actually means you might actually be able to get close and hit something with your regular missiles. Well, not with your regular missiles, but with your lightweight missiles. But then again, bit of a risk versus reward thing going on here, where if you can get close and do as much damage as possible, you will get actively rewarded by having a faster boss. And in this game, as people who have played this game for more than a few seconds will know, you actually get bonus points for defeating a boss as quickly as possible. So the more damage you can deal out in a shorter time frame is actually really important. And it really does change the way you think about Dariusburst, because again, the closer you can get, the more damage you can do in a small amount of time. That's very useful. I should probably stay back. Then again, you are generally recommended to get point blank in Dariusburst anyway, because you do have a limit to how many bullets you can have on the screen at once with most of the regular DB ships, so you do need to... Boom. You do need to... I just love hitting shit off the screen. You do need to get close in order to have as many bullets hit the enemy as possible, so you do have some good amount of training going on when it comes to actively attacking, but yeah, at the same time, it really is a good idea to either figure out whether or not it's safe to get point blank, or whether or not it's safe to stay back and just hold down X and just let your homing missiles do the... let your really weak swarm of homing missiles do the job. Again, it's a very interesting boss. Well, not very interesting boss, a very interesting mechanic. It's a shame they didn't do anything with the main weapon, though, other than just making it upgradable, because it just seems like a waste of a main weapon. But then again, they probably are trying to be realistic to the original games that these came from, so I'm not going to give them too much shit for that. And it is a cool ship to fight with purely because of the missile system, don't get me wrong. Just would have been nice to see something extra done. So I really don't have anything else to talk about, so I might as well start talking about what's coming in the future. So there are 3 more DLC ships confirmed to be coming at this point, which are Opa Opa from Fantasy Zone, which is amazing, by the way. Fantasy Zone music in Dariusburst is just something I can't even imagine, and it's even going to have like 5 interchangeable weapons. Then you've got the guy from Space Harrier, which is even funnier for some reason. Like just a guy floating around in space fighting giant fish. So, you know, yay. And the third ship, I can't remember off the top of my head because it's not really that notable. But it's still a third ship and it's probably got something interesting going on with it. So yeah, see here? This guy, get too close to him will probably screw you up the arse with missiles. But get too far away, can't use your missiles on him. So it's a very interesting risk versus reward scenario. But anyway. So, they've got 3 DLC ships upcoming, which means they've probably got more stages upcoming. So, having more stages for the DLC ships would be good. I'd just like to see more of them. Like, I don't think... Like, you'll have close to 100 stages to play with each of these ships, which is alright, but at the same time, not having like the 200-something stages of Chronicle mode is a little bit disappointing. Just a little bit. God, you do so much damage to the 1,000 bullets. But again, risk versus reward. If you're not really good at dodging all this guy's shots, you are screwed if you try to do a close range strategy. But then again, you can just hold X down and try and get as much damage on these things as possible. And if you destroy more ships with this long range strategy, it'll actually fill up your missile meter faster so you can have more missiles going out at once, which is definitely an interesting way of putting it. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting way of playing the game, but yeah. I would like to see more DLC ships though, because I feel that Taito were sort of arcade shooter kings back in the day. So I would love to see more extra ships from them. Like, the ship from Space Invaders Extreme, I reckon, would be a fantastic addition to this game. Because you've got it's got like 4 different something weapons, and amazing music from the same people who did the music for this game. So, yeah, it's fantastic music just overall, and it's actually quite relevant, all things considered. Ow. Out of the way of the beam, please. Out of the way of the beam, please. Out of the way of the beam, please. There we go. I actually beat him this time. Because I hate 1,000 bullets. I hate him so much. But yeah. So yeah, the ship from Space Invaders Extreme has like 5 different weapons, and it would be a great opportunity, I reckon. Another ship that comes to mind, which is a really weird, really obscure reference, and I don't know how I know this, but Burai Fighter, where you moved up and down a stage, and you could shoot in 4 different directions, and you actually had a relatively good reason to shoot in 4 different directions. That would be an interesting ship to add as well. For a third Taito ship, well, I don't think Burai Fighter was published by Taito, so that might be a little bit hard. But then again, that was just one of the first things that came to mind when I thought to myself, what would be an interesting ship to add to the new, to add to Dariusburst now they're willing to do DLC ships, but yeah. A 9th DLC ship doesn't really come to mind, but there are plenty of good shooters out there. Like, imagine getting Konami to fork over the license for Gradius and having the Gradius ship show up. Or even the Proteus ship. What about, oh yeah, I know one. What's the dragon game from the TurboGrafx 16? Koryun. Imagine that. Imagine Koryun, the cute-ass dragon, showing up in Dariusburst. That would be fantastic. Just having all the ships drop fruit and have that be the way to upgrade your weapons. That would be incredible. But yeah, the amount of potential ways that they could screw with this game. Like, I say screw with it in a pleasant way, by the way. Not the general just pin it down and do whatever you want with it style, but the general just have interesting ways to play with the game's mechanics. The amount of things you can do with this game's mechanics while playing around with all sorts of different cameo ships is an absolutely fantastic thing to think about. And it's just a shame that I think they probably won't be releasing more DLC after this, but in the same way, maybe if this DLC sells really well, maybe they'll actually have more money to do even more DLC ships. Or, God forbid, they'll actually make a goddamn sequel. Because a goddamn sequel for this game would be absolutely fantastic, because this game's probably one of the best shooters I've ever played. Like, I can't think of a single shooter game that I've played or seen that matches with Dariusburst. God, imagine if they could get, like, other ships in. Like from indie games, Doujin games from Japan. Like, imagine the ship from Revolver 360 or Crimson Clover showing up in this. Imagine that. That would be insane. Those games are fantastic. So, imagine, like, some of the Touhou characters showing up, or Toho, whatever the bloody hell you pronounce it. Just, the amount of things you could do would be incredible. But yeah, that was the final zone, and I actually managed to finish the stage. So, you know, that's me hitting my hand against my stomach. Alright, whatever. So, yeah, the DLC, while a little bit expensive for the amount of stages it gives you, introduces 3 very unique ways of playing the game, and while some of them are, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of taking ideas from the previous ships that come from the game, they're all mostly unique, and they're all very interesting ships to play. Just more stages. Please, just add more stages, and I would absolutely love playing through stages with these guys. Like, it would have been best if they could just integrate this mode with the CS mode, but I guess we can't win them all. So yeah. That was a look at the first wave of downloadable content for Dariusburst. I'll happily have a look at the second wave once it comes out, because I am looking forward to playing as Opa and fucking Dariusburst. But yeah, the DLC is definitely a good time, and it's probably well worth your time if you've already picked this game up. This has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.